Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is brought to you by the Friends in Recovery community, a thriving network of individuals who are fighting back against the stigma of addiction. Join our hosts as they speak up about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, here are your Friends in Recovery.
Welcome, everybody, to the Friends in Recovery podcast with Jersey Ed. I'm your host, Jersey Ed. Let's hear it from you guys. No, let's hear it for the ladies. Let's hear it for Buckeye, Bambi, and Super Beth. Super Beth, you were out last week, and our people want to know why. We ended up telling them something, but we didn't want to kind of allude to anything. So if you would like to tell us why you were out, or you can just we can keep it a mystery and have everybody guess at the end of the year. And then we can give a prize away, like a date with Camden Kathy, maybe.
I told everybody, Ed.
That'd be awesome. No. I was walking around in my backyard. I took a break from work to let the dog out, and I was walking around in my backyard trying to figure out where to put daffodil bulbs over the weekend. And I slipped on some dry leaves, and I broke my foot in 2 or 3 places.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude, it's bad.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad.
So you feeling better now, or?
I am starting to feel better. I have a little bit of cabin fever, which I never thought would happen to me. But I think it has more to do with having cabin fever for me has more to do with not being able to walk.
That's a cabin fever. We should call you Basement Beth, not Super Beth. We should call you Basement Beth.
I can't go to my basement. I've been in my bedroom. I've been in my bedroom for 5 days now.
Oh my God. Well, we're happy you're back. We missed you last week. We did see you on Facebook Live. You were there.
Watching.
You were there. Did we do a good job? How did it look from the outside?
You guys were so awesome. It was a great conversation. I tried to chime in, and I'm like, this isn't working.
You should have seen the pre-conversation. Ed and I were like, well, what are we going to do?
Yeah, I know.
We're supposed to have a guest and Super Beth, and what the hell are we going to do now?
I know. We're pulling out books. We're doing everything, and that's why we started a little late. Yeah.
I'm so sorry you got hurt.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, all I know is that I've been in training for 8 weeks, and the day before I came out of training for a new job, I broke my foot, and I was awesome. Like, so I'm gonna need some more training.
Keep training me. I need a little bit more.
Keep training me for another 8 weeks.
That's right. If you guys want to leave Beth a message, you can call us at 800-989-6504 and leave her a wonderful, wonderful message. And I'll get it to her. I'll make sure we get it to her. Or if you want to email Beth, you can email. Well, all the emails are right below, as you can see right now. Carl put them up there. Everybody has an email address. Or if you want to email the show and tell everybody how great we are in one email, you can email us at help@friendsinrecoverypodcast.com, with your suggestions or any show topics or whatever. This month is February. It's sponsor month. That is what we are doing on the show. This year, we're doing a month-by-month topic. So this month is sponsor month. And what's next month's topic, ladies? Do you remember? Okay, as we move on. So Purple Hearts.
I do. It's Higher Power Inspiration Month.
Oh, that's right. That's next month. Nice.
That's next month. I'm looking forward to that one. Higher Power Inspiration Month. So, but sponsor month is good too, because Camden Kathy's here. She will speak to her in a minute about sponsorship and all that good stuff. But if you want to give us some hearts, I'm going to start with Beth right now. We want to give Beth there you go, bunch of purple hearts right there. Give her those purple hearts.
No, not purple.
Oh, orange. What did I say last week? Didn't I say I was calling them purple hearts? I was calling them purple. I was calling hearts purple hearts. You want to give Beth orange purple hearts.
Okay, Joey Tribbiani.
Purple ones there. That's all that matters.
And you want to give me some blue purple hearts. And you want to give Bambi some purple hearts. And I think Camden Kathy is going to accept some red hearts this show. Correct, Kathy?
Yeah.
All right, good. We'll get back to
May
that
I
in a
just-
minute. Oh, go ahead.
May I just say, I
Sure.
can't give anybody hearts because I'm not touching this keyboard or I'll get out of the meeting.
You
So-
just sit there. You sit tight.
I'm not touching a thing.
Good. I'd like to thank all the donors who made this show possible. To make a donation, please go to our website, friendsandrecoverycommunity.org, and the shows are up there. A lot of good stuff is up there, so check it out. You can even check out the Fire Network if you're interested in the Fire Network. Let us know. Send us an email to either info@soberpod.com or Friends in Recovery. You can mail us at the email address I gave you before. It is sponsor month, like I said. In today's topic, or today's guest is Camden Caffey, and we'll get back to her in a minute. Sober shout outs, ladies. This includes you, Camden Caffey. Does anybody have a sober shout out today?
I will have 2 official ones next week because it's right after the show airs, but I'm going to give a shout out to my brother and sister-in-law because I am back in Amish country at my brother's house. He has to have some surgery on Monday, so I get to be here with him. And just because they get to tolerate me for a little while. Usually I come, they only have to put up with me for a day or 2, but this time they're going to put up with me for a little longer. So.
I'm sure they love you there, Bambi.
They feed me good.
There you go. Why is Matt putting up a bunch of confetti? Like he's alone, isn't he now?
No, he's got the pugs.
That's right. Oh yeah.
And Mama's cat.
That's right. So that's your brother. What's your sister-in-law's name?
Darla
And Chuck.
Yeah.
Good luck with her. Okay, guys.
And she made me homemade cabbage rolls last night. And let me tell you, that was my favorite. When I used to, because I lived in Florida for, 22 years, and I would fly home I'd fly home more than that, but always on my birthday, right? In October to my mama's. And Mom would say, honey, don't you want something different when you get in? And I'd say, no, I want cabbage rolls. And she'd make me a big old pot and I'd eat them for dinner the day I went, and for breakfast and lunch. She's like, you got to be sick of them. I'm like, no, I'm not. And Darla makes them. Now I can't say as good as my mama's because they were my mama's.
There you go.
They're pretty damn close. And I had homemade banana bread for breakfast.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Welcome to Buckeye Bambi's cooking show with Buckeye Bambi. Take it away. Oh my God. How about you, Basement Beth? What do you got over there?
I actually, we have a great unstuffed cabbage recipe that we make, which is all the same stuff. It's just shredded cabbage instead of
wrapped around. Cabbage. There you go.
So it's a little faster. We actually had that for dinner last night.
There you go.
Me too.
And it is. Yep. Stuffed cabbage is definitely one of my favorites. And I actually make homemade banana bread about every other week when my kids don't eat bananas.
Wow.
Yeah, they're right, because you got to do something with the bananas.
I'm not going to throw them out. And the banana bread is so good when they're all dark brown and
there you go.
Looking.
So your sober shout out is to stuffed cabbage and
banana bread.
Okay, sober shout out to them. And Camden Caffey, do you have any sober shout outs that you want to say hello to anybody or recognize anybody?
First of all, I would need both recipes for the stuffed cabbage and the regular cabbage at your earliest convenience.
Okay.
And I was just thinking sober shout out. So I would like to shout out to any of my sponsees, to my sponsor, and anybody else in recovery that's struggling or needs help, or people in recovery that are, taking action and doing great things every day.
Thank you, Camden Caffey. And if you are struggling, please don't hesitate to reach out. Listen to some of our shows, give us a call. On the 800 number, again, non-emergency 800 number, but reach out to one of us. We're always available, and email us or however you guys want to get a hold of us, and we'll guide you through or help you through whatever you're going through. So my standing sober shout out is, of course, is SoberPod, ladies. I mean, that's of course the standard. Carl and Chelsea, we love you guys, and great show, second best to Friends in Recovery, and I'm sure it's the opposite for them. So, but yeah, no, go check them out. Carl does a lot of service work for us, and we really, really appreciate it, Carl. And they have a great show over there, so go check them out. Soberpod, and any of your favorite podcast catchers. I remember last week, ladies, when I said I did have a sober shout out, and I couldn't remember who it was. So I know it's about a week or two late, but I want to recognize Bob Moore. He's a friend of the show. He's a friend. He's been on this show several times. He's been on answering the call several times, and he comes to our meetings every once in a while. So 2 weeks ago, Bob did a 24-hour treadmill race to raise money for like a Make-A-Wish type thing. I don't want to say the F word, but it wasn't the Make-A-Wish F word. But it was for I forgot what it was for, and I can't pull it up, and I apologize, but I'll have that information in the notes because you can still make a donation to it. But he ran for 24 hours on a treadmill in a car dealership, with a couple other treadmills next to him. He ran the 24 hours, and the news was there to cover it. That we were able to watch it live and all kinds of cool stuff. But that's not the best part of this story about Bob. Okay, that is amazing. That's wonderful. That's great. The 24-hour run. Here's the amazing part of the story. A week later, Bob goes in for prostate cancer, and he's recovering wonderful now. He's doing great. I text him. I see him on, him and I text back and forth, but he's doing great now. And, he said it was a little tough, getting back into things, but he's doing great. So Bob, we love you so much. You're a friend of Friends in Recovery. You're always welcome on this show. Amazing, from 24 hours running on a treadmill to a week later having prostate cancer. And he's going to push through it. He's going to push through it. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So keep up the good work, Bob. Yeah.
And what dedication to helping others is that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's not the first time. If you want some more information on Bob, just, send us an email. He's an amazing human being. So I have the pleasure to call him one of my really good friends. So, and don't forget, we have twice daily AA meetings on Zoom. You can find them at our website, of course, friendsinrecoverycommunity.org, and get on all our social media. Check us all out. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and give us comments below. The hearts, all the heart stuff you can go over.
Purple heart.
Orange hearts.
Purple orange hearts, purple blue hearts, and purple hearts, and purple red hearts. I got to stop saying that because I'm going to call hearts purple hearts from now on.
That's okay.
All right, ladies, you know what time it is?
Question of the week.
Question of the week.
Question of the week. Yes, there it is.
And normally I'm excited about question of the week, but what a boring question of the week Ed picked this week.
Well, wait. So first of all, I want to go back a little bit. Now, let's not complain a little. Talk to your sponsor while I'm talking here, okay, Bambi?
I'm on the little resentment, Kathy. I may have to step for you later.
That's it. No, here's the thing. We asked Carl for something last week, and he provided it with us. So the confetti is here. You had the confetti. Did you see that?
That was amazing.
Yeah, I know. It was really cool. Did you watch the show?
Yeah, of course, several times, because I try to get our ratings up. So I just watch it for all of us.
Watch it 10 times in a row. So Carl is providing confetti for Bambi, and only Bambi at this point. So that
should be, I should have a sober shout out to Carl just for my confetti finally.
There you go.
I love you, Carl. Thanks for the confetti.
There you go.
Carl.
You give Beth something while you're at it.
Yeah, for her broken leg. She needs some confetti this week.
And no wah sound effects. Please.
He may do that.
Carl could be, he could be a dick and do that.
I would like some, Charlie Brown.
Yes, exactly. So the question of the week, ladies, is who is your favorite public speaker? Who is your favorite public speaker? I know this isn't the most exciting question in the world, but we have to let the audience get to know us from every angle. from every angle. So, from pizza last week to public speaking this week, and who knows what's going to be next week. So, Beth, who is your favorite public speaker?
So I guess it's like a toss up. So my friend Chris S, he's in recovery. He does a lot of speaking. You can find him anywhere on the internet. Close second would be Earl H, also an AA speaker.
There you go.
And then Brene Brown. I love when she gets up and she talks about the research that she does. It's not just feel good stuff. It's actually hard research. So
there you go. 3 from complaining, I don't know, to 3.
Well, you gave me some parameters. So
there you go. Exactly. I had to explain a little bit. We don't have to just think inside the box. We think outside the box here. Kathy, Camden Kathy, who is your favorite public speaker? If you have one, if you don't, it's okay.
This is my favorite public speaker, but I can never pronounce her name correctly, so bear with me. And it's Ayanla von Sant. Did you guys ever hear of her?
No.
Okay, she's an American. I'm just reading this. I'm cheating. She's an American inspirational speaker, lawyer, New Thought spiritual teacher, author, life coach, and television personality.
Wow.
And someone recommended one of her books to me. And now, and I may sound frugal, but at every thrift store, I either pick up like her books, Dr. Phil's books. I forget the other guy's name. But anyway, this woman is fabulous. She gives not only, it's mostly life coaching and ways to handle relationships and all life's challenges. And Google her, look her up.
We will.
She's fabulous.
Bambi,
what's her name? Ayana what?
Ivania. Wait a minute.
Ivania.
Wait a minute. Iyanla. Ayanla.
Yeah.
And then her last name is VANZANT.
Van Zant.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I just adore that woman.
Okay. So I will look her up.
Okay, good.
And I'll try
Let
to
me
book
know
her
how
on
you
the
like
show.
her.
I'll report back to you, Camden Kathy.
Good.
Yeah, let's get her on the show. Bambi.
I'll
Good
try to
job.
Yeah, get her on the show. Yeah, Bambi. Come on, make that
Yeah.
happen, Bambi. So, okay. So now here we're going to ask Bambi who her least favorite question, but favorite public speaker may be.
I mean, I had no clue when Ed said that. I'm like, who the heck, but who I tend to quote the most, what is like the most that gets you on a roll is Martin Luther King, right? I've got a dream. Every time someone says that, you think about his speeches. But to actually sit and listen to, Camden Kathy mentioned him, but I love to listen to Dr. Phil talk to addicts and alcoholics.
There you go.
I mean, he doesn't pull any punches with them. He's he doesn't drink. He hasn't drank in like 40 years, but he said he just knew that there was an inherent chance that he would become alcoholic if he did drink. So he's not an alcoholic or an addict, but he's got that soft spot for him, but he'll be real tough with them sometimes. But then he turns around and gives them this amazing rehab opportunity. And they're all saying, no, I'm not going. No way I'm going
of
to
course
rehab.
not.
And he's like, have you had a better offer? Have you ever had a better offer in your life? I'm offering you life when what you're faced with, you're going to, if you don't accept this help, you're going to die. There's, no chance that you're going to keep drinking the way you are and continue to live. So have you had a better offer? So I just love the way he talks to alcoholics and addicts. And
Dr. Phil, it's funny. I love that question that you just said, have you had a better offer? And, here's your offer, and sometimes I hear the excuses, I can't do that right now. It's not going to fit into my life. Right.
You hear that all the time.
Right?
That's what they all say.
All the time. So, here's my comeback to that, guys. All right. If somebody says that, okay, if I offered you a trip to Aruba and you had to leave tomorrow, would you take it? And they don't know what to say, right? They have no fucking idea what to say. And it's not the person, it's the disease that's telling them that, you know.
Yeah.
And I get why, they say that. But yeah, that's, Dr. Phil is, he does a great job as far as helping addicts and alcoholics. So Dr. Phil, we have some lady with the Van Zant last name and a speaker. Who's the speaker? You said. I didn't write
Chris
it down.
S. and Earl H.
Chris S. Yes, Chris S. and Earl H. I know Earl H. Nobody said Joe and Charlie. Let's see some Joe and Charlie's up there, guys.
I do like Joe and Charlie.
Yeah,
And, our friend in recovery, John, turned me on to them, and I've been watching them ever since. So
there you go. So, all right. So my favorite, and then we'll get on with the show here. We're going to interview Camden Caffey, figure out how she got her name and all that good stuff. But my favorite, my favorite public speaker is, of course, Tony Robbins. I quote him all the time on the show. I talk about him all the time. And of course, I have to be like Beth. I have to pick another one. And Jesse Itzler is another public speaker who I love. He's not well known, but him and Tony Robbins, when I went down to the conference a couple of years ago, he was a guest there, and I just kind of fell in love with what his why is. And he's about family, about taking time for yourself, getting out and doing. And he's like an endurance junkie. So, and I am too. I like to run. He does a lot of runs. He does all kinds of crazy stuff. So, check him out. And of course, everybody knows Tony Robbins, but Jesse Itzler wrote some really good books too, some of his life experiences. So, and I belong to one of his coaching course called Build Your BYLR, Build Your Life's Resume. So Stacy says John Maxwell. She's seeing him next week. Glenn Doyle, she also said, and she also said, we love you, Camden Caffey.
I love you too, Stacey, and I miss you.
Yes. And good morning to David, and good morning to Matt and everybody on Facebook Live. So guys, here it is. It's time for the big interview. Like now we should have some like music, the big interview, right? With Dan Rather. There you go. So would you like to introduce the guest, Bambi?
absolutely. So since it's sponsor month, we couldn't have sponsor month without having my sponsor on here, because she saves my life every day. This program and her, they've just made such an impact in my life, and she always guides me in the right direction, and always does it by, she'll tell me to read this page and and it's always what I need to do. She'll say, she'll tell me, this is one of the best ones. She told me, you have to pray for that person you have a resentment for. And I said, well, if I say, okay, but I just got to pray for the bitch, or pray for, and she's like, yeah, I can say that, but eventually that will change to the name, and it's great, but she always guides me in the right way. So I'd love to introduce my sponsor, Camden Caffey.
Camden Caffey, welcome to the show, Camden Caffey. We love you. And I'm going to confess a little bit here. I am afraid of you. Okay. and we spoke about that. We spoke about that plenty of times on the show. And then I talked to Bambi a lot, because she's a big part of Friends in Recovery. And I always tell Bambi, I'm kind of afraid of Camden Caffey.
Why are you afraid?
I'm kidding. I respect you.
Good.
I respect you.
Oh,
So
thank you.
well, Camden Caffey, thank you for coming on the show. We love you. You're a big part of Friends in Recovery community also. And you were here from probably the beginning when we started all these meetings, when we kind of grew a little bit, and then the podcast and all this, and everything was going on. But Caffey, you we lost Beth.
Yeah.
She might come back.
She'll come back.
But Caffey, now we've been calling you Camden Caffey, and why don't you let our listeners know why we call you Camden Caffey? The short version, or if you don't want to go into it, it's okay. But if you can give us kind of a quick overall why we're calling you Camden Caffey.
Okay. So back when I was deep in my addiction and alcoholism, I would go to Camden every single day, usually sometimes twice a day, to go purchase the dry goods. And I think one time I was telling Ed the story of a gentleman who shorted me.
Yes, that was
And
it.
took off. And I was in my insanity, and I chased this man who, mind you, was a drug dealer. And I chased him through Camden. It was like a high-speed chase.
My God.
Through red lights, through stop signs, going down one-way streets. And finally, I like put my car broadside against his. I didn't hit him in a parking lot. And I jumped out and I said, "You give me what I paid for." And he was, all right, here. I will never serve you again.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're not talking about Camden, Maine, okay, or Camden, Ohio, or for even that sense, Camden, Montana. We were talking about probably the top 5 worst cities in the world, Camden, New Jersey. That's what Kathy was talking about. And, it's crazy, Kathy. We do some insane things in our addiction. And there you are, this woman running around a really bad city after a drug dealer, right? And how crazy was life in going on then? You know what I mean? Did you ever think you would be here today on a show talking about your sponsees, sitting here with your sponsee and talking about sponsorship and even being alive today?
No, I never ever thought I would get help, and I would pray every night for God to take me, because I was doing such damage to my grown children, especially my youngest. And it was a horrible, painful experience, and I saw no way out. So no, I never expected to be where I am at today, but I thank God every day that I am where I'm at today.
So what was that moment of clarity, Kath, when you said, okay, it's time to turn my life around, or okay, if you're not going to take me, God, then I need something different? What was that moment of clarity for you?
So the moment of clarity was when my youngest daughter's guidance counselor asked to see my husband and myself. So she said to me, you're destroying yourself, you're destroying your daughter, and why won't you go inpatient? So it was like a ton of bricks hit me on my head. And I said, because I'm petrified, I'm claustrophobic, I can't be locked in anywhere. And that was the craziness, that I thought I was going to be locked into a detox or a rehab. And she explained, unless you're court ordered, you can leave anytime you want to.
Yeah.
And so I didn't go that day, but she, how they say planted the seed?
Yes, ma'am.
Planted the seed. And then so I'm a nurse, and after one of my arrests, I got contacted by the board of nursing, and I ended up getting a call. So I had to call RAMP, and it's called Recovery and Monitoring Program for Nurses. And I was on the phone with she turned out to be my case manager. My husband had just passed, I don't know, couple weeks before. My youngest daughter was, mentally, emotionally going down the tubes. And after an hour conversation with my case manager, she said, when's the last time you relapsed? And I said, oh, I don't know, 5, 6, 10 times. I really don't remember.
10 minutes ago.
I'm sorry. I laughed so loud.
That's okay. We love laugh. We love being happy.
I hope you can erase that part. Anyway.
No, please.
So she said, I have an emergency. I have to go. I'll call you back. And I said, excuse me, we've been on the phone for an hour. What's your emergency? And she said, you. And I said, what? And she says, yeah, you're going inpatient. And I said, no, I can't. My daughter, this, that. And she said, would you rather your daughter suffer for a month with you being away, or attending your funeral and burying you. So then when I went away, you know, and I knew I would lose my nursing license if I didn't comply. So God definitely intervened for me at the right time.
Yeah. And now you're here, and you know we love you. You're like I said, you're a staple in our community. You sponsor a lot of women in our community, and that's what this month is about. Sponsor month. Beth, I know you sponsor about 97,000 women. Bambi's up there with 96,000 women. So, but this is a great show to talk about. Well, obviously sponsorship. That's why we brought you on, because we have some strong sponsors on here and really hardworking sponsees. You know, with each one of us, and that's how we stay sober. So, one question I want to ask you, and ladies, if you have any questions, and please, Bambi, jump in, or Beth. But I want to ask you, in your words, Kathy, and Bambi and Beth, you can answer this too. But in your words, what is a sponsor, and what does it mean to you?
So a sponsor to me now means to take a woman through the Big Book and the 12 steps, so that she in turn may then take another woman through and help another woman. But my sponsorship crosses the line, because my sponsees are my best friends, and, you know, guidance, and, you know, talking to each other. And my sponsees help me tremendously also. And my sponsor, the first sponsor I had, the first time we sat down, she said to me, listen now, I'm just taking, she was such a hard ass, but she did me the world of good. Her name was Erica. And she said, listen, I just want you to know that my job is to take you through the Big Book and the 12 steps, and then you must sponsor somebody when you're done. And I was petrified of this woman. And she said, I will never lend you money. I will not bail you out of jail. I will give you food if you're hungry. And I was like, whoa. And the only reason I got that sponsor was because my husband's sponsor, his name's Butchie, came up to me in the Kiss Club, and I was a hot mess. And he said, come with me. And he took me in the back, and he said, knock on that door and tell that woman, Erica, you need help. And that's exactly what I did. And I interrupted her being with another sponsee. And she was like, well, okay, sit down, because you don't interrupt Erica while she's sponsoring, you know? So that was that.
Wow.
So I like that, giving back. That's exactly what, to me, you know, the end outcome of this program is to give back so we can stay sober. So Beth, did you want to add to that, or did you want to answer that question?
Dude, I'm on board. Everything she said. And I feel like we must come from the same sponsorship line at some point, because I literally got the same thing. I'm not your friend. I'm not your banker. I'm not your therapist. I am not bailing you out of jail. She would give me food if I was hungry. Sit down. Yep. Sit down, shut your mouth, and get your pen and your highlighter out, like every week. So, and you know, we have become insanely spiritually connected friends over the years. But yeah, dude, my main responsibility, I think I just worded it differently than most people, is to take you through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous so that you can have your own experience with this work, and thus give it to somebody else. But I mean, Kathy, we've heard so much about you, and everything that Bambi says, oh, my sponsor told me this, or, oh, me and my sponsor did this, or this is what my sponsor told me to do. It's like, we are definitely on the same page, like Big Book through and through. I was so excited to meet you. I get why Ed would be afraid. I get it. But yeah, I kind of want to introduce you to my sponsor so that y'all could be BFFs, because yeah, that's all I got, man.
Awesome. Thank you, Beth. That was beautiful.
And Camden, Kathy, I'm going to bring us back to a cold day in December out in Illinois, snow coming down, ice, cold. And I get a call from Bambi. I hear her outside I'm like, what are you doing? She said, yeah, it's freezing out here. She said, my sponsor, do you want to finish the story or should I finish it, Bambi?
You finished. Yeah.
My sponsor gave me something to do and I had to go for a walk. I don't remember what the whole thing was, but here's Bambi out in the snow walking. I don't even know how far she walked. And she said, my sponsor told me to go out.
Uphill.
There you
Both
go.
ways.
I like that. One way, both ways.
Both ways.
Both ways. Yes, exactly. But you know what? That's what we need, and Bambi, you have amazing recovery, but you're still a little bit younger than us, but we still all take the suggestions too. And we've been in that outside walking around cold, maybe not that same exact thing, but you know what, Bambi, I admire you for even doing that. Most people say, yeah, I did it. I'll call you when I'm done and blah, blah, blah. But most people,
No way.
I know.
No
But
way.
that's how dedicated
I'm not
we are.
with my sponsor.
I know. She probably has a tracker on you.
She's got a GPS in mind somewhere.
Exactly.
Good idea, Ed.
See?
Oh no, Ed, shut the hell up, Ed.
But that's how dedicated we are to our recovery, and I remember, early recovery too. And even now, my sponsor tells me, Ed, call me when you call me. I'm not going to come track you down. He said, when the pain gets great enough, you're going to fucking call me. And that is true. So I try not to let the pain get great enough. I try to call him almost every day. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but I'm on the phone with them, sharing whatever I need to share with them, just sponsee stuff, and I think that's great. And I do that with my sponsees too. I'm not going to go track them down. I'm not going to, but when they need me, I'm there for them, and just like my sponsor is. So, Bambi, so after telling that story, do you want to tell us some more things that she tells you to do?
Yes, I will. But it's so funny because most people would say, oh, she sends you on a walk. But, I'm literally stuck inside the house. I don't have a driver's license. And we're out in the middle of literally nowhere in Illinois. I mean, the biggest town, it would take Matt 2 hours to drive me somewhere to drop me off at the mall or the library or somewhere, and then to get back to work and stuff. So a lot of times I'm really stuck in there. So especially if I'm holding some kind of resentment or I'm angry at him, I'm stuck in that house because he works from home. Sorry, honey, I'm telling this on air, but as he's listening. But she'll say, you just need to get out of that. You can't be stuck in that situation with him a room away from you and get some perspective on it, So she's like, what's it like outside? Is the sun out? If it's not pouring the rain, just go for a walk. Connect with God, and then you need to listen to God. You need to do both those things. So, and she's always right when she sends me on a walk. It's so funny. And she'll give me the option. If it's too bad outside, just walk up and down your stairs, get some blood pumping through your body, exercise will make you, it's like that barrier between your mind and your body. When you're moving your body, your mind is in a better spot. And for me, getting outside in the fresh air, things are always clearer. They're always better, afterwards. So, but I did worry when I got a pair of very nice leather lined gloves for Christmas.
Oh my God. Well, I like what you said. And I know Cam and Kathy, this is big part of, move the body and the mind will follow, right? Sit in a meeting, listen to this, listen to the podcast, just don't take a drink for an hour, don't take a drink for a minute. And eventually the mind follows, after, an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is, the mind does follow. It catches up. But if you're not in the right places, right? If you're at the drug dealer's house, if you're at the bar, if you're in your own head, the body's going to eventually catch up and it's going to be right where you're at. The mind will eventually catch up and it's going to be right where you're at. And that's not a good place. So go to those safe places, go for a walk like Kathy suggests, go, do what you have to do. Get out your highlighter and pen. Like Beth said, do all this stuff to get out of self and help yourself, basically, not to get it, not then you're going to get out of self, but help yourself, basically, So, Kathy, I know you do sponsor a lot of women. What does sponsorship do for you, Kath? Like, how does it keep you sober? Does it keep you sober? Are you over sponsoring people? Is it, are you done? You want to retire from being a sponsor? What is it? What is it for you that keeps you going? I mean, I see these women on here, and Beth knows. Beth talked to us. She just said, we hear all about you. And what is it about sponsorship? And I know you kind of alluded to that at the beginning, but why do you keep going?
Sponsorship for me is to keep me out of thinking of self. And anytime like poor Kathy, or have a really bad resentment or a really bad day, I was always told to go help somebody.
Mm.
And it's really just God working through me that helps me to help people, and I get the direction from him, and it's interesting. So I've again, unfortunately, attended 3 funerals in the past week and a half. And the last one was my boss's 42-year-old nephew who literally drank himself to death. And we were talking, and I was trying to give him some comfort, and I don't even know how. He's very big on the Bible and Ecclesiastes, like this is just part of our journey, and our real life begins when we pass over. And he said, Kati, he's from Nicaragua, so he has a really heavy accent. I love this man to death, though. What a great guy. And he said, Kati, I need to ask you something. I said, what? And he said, when you wake up in the morning, what is your purpose? What do you do? So I said, well, my purpose is, I'm always thanking God for waking me up. But then my purpose is to do what God tells me or talks to me about, and to help people. And he said, why do you help people? And I said, because it keeps me clean and sober. And he said, but what does it do for you? And I said, well, it gives me great satisfaction. And then I've been thinking about this for quite a while since we had this conversation. And he said, but isn't it true you help people for the good feeling you get after helping people? And I said, oh, well, yeah. I said, I never thought of it that way. And I still don't quite understand what he was getting at, because, the other thing is I just want to remain humble and teachable. And I always feel like I'm in nursery school in AA, because I'm only clean and sober as of when I woke up today, as we all are.
Yeah.
So, but not, seeing people that then fail or pass away and everything, it just breaks my heart and soul. And have I over-sponsored? Absolutely.
I didn't mean it that way. I mean, are you over sponsoring people, not over sponsored? But yes, is there too much sponsoring? Yeah, are you over it? If that's what I meant. But yeah, that's actually a good question. Is there over sponsoring? Can it be detrimental to, and that goes out for everybody here, is that, Beth and Bambi too?
Yes. So there came a point last year, and I work in the field, lots of sponsees, always helping people, doing whatever, blah, blah, blah. And one day, this is God's honest truth, I just started crying, and nothing had happened. I had just left taking care of my 2 great nieces, and my 4 great nieces and nephews are the joy of my life. Like, if I could spend all my time with them, I would. And I just started crying, and it continued all weekend long. And then Monday I went and worked, and my boss and my coworker had discharged a client of mine. And I was outraged. Like, that's my client, and I didn't want him, blah, blah, blah. And then we got into a little discussion, a heated discussion. And then I just started crying, and I couldn't stop crying for 24 hours. So I called my psychiatrist, And she said, okay, here's what I'm telling you to do. No meetings, no sponsorship. I don't want you talking to your sponsor. I don't want you talking to your sponsees.
Wow.
And no work. I said, I can't not work. And she said, Kathy, your gas tank is going below empty. And she said, I've known you for a good few years now. And she said, if you don't get better soon, she said, I would really consider hospitalization. And I was like, what? No way, no way. So I listened to exactly what she said, and it was the truth. So it hurts me terribly when people come up to me at meetings and say, will you be my sponsor? And I'll say, I'm so sorry, but it wouldn't be fair to you nor fair to me because, I'm no spring chicken either. So, I forget, like things come out of my mouth that so a lot of times too, I'm getting where my filter is getting less and less.
Well, we have boundaries now. We can say no to others to say yes to ourselves. I mean, that's another thing. That's huge. Taking care of ourselves. Put the oxygen mask on first, because how are we going to take care of others if we? And I love that your psychiatrist said that. I mean, I love it because there is everything is you can't get too much of everything, of anything. And AA, if you live, breathe, sleep, and constantly help somebody, or you're constantly on the phone and you're sponsoring this one, you're running here and you're doing a 12 step call here and blah blah blah, you have no time for yourself. And this program is not about fucking ourselves, excuse my language. It's about helping ourselves. It's about bettering ourselves so we can pass that along. And there's only so much that one person can do before it starts getting watered down. And it's great that you can understand that. And Beth, I know I'm kidding you sponsor a few people, but do you feel that way too? I mean, I like this, that we have these people with multiple sponsees on here, because do you feel that way?
Like I definitely hit, like I remember so my sponsor used to have a sponsee meeting and we all went every other Tuesday for like 7 years. It was amazing.
Oh.
And I remember, it was amazing. And I remember sharing, I'm on I'm on empty. I have nothing left to give. And I think therein lies the balance. There's got to be balance in everything. We have a very close friend of mine who's in my sponsorship kind of family, who we told, no, you can't take on any new sponsees for a year. And this woman gets asked to be a sponsor like once a week, right? Wow. So I took on one of the girls that asked her, and Anne Marie took on one of the girls that asked her, and Anne Marie sponsee took on one of the girls that asked her, and but she that burnout is real. Yeah. Service burnout is real. Burnout is burnout. And we can't be all things to all people. We have to learn our own lessons. So my friend is learning this year what I learned 10 years ago, which is, you do what you can do. There's nothing happens in God's world by mistake. And sometimes I'm just supposed to be a conduit to get you somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still helping. That is absolutely 100% still helping, because they're attracted to people like us, and then we can direct them where they need to go. If it is with us, or if it's with somebody else, or whatever the case may be. Now, Bambi, I know you're in the same situation. I know you don't have that many sponsees, but being new,
I have 4 sponsees, because
that's a good number.
That's not a bad number.
Well, I started out saying I'll only ever have 2, because I thought 2 was good. So but the one girl that I took on was in a different time zone. She's in the West Coast, so the time difference is so great. I was only supposed to be a temporary, until we found her someone, and we were actively searching for someone, because I just thought, our times are just so far off from each other. It's just not going to be a good fit. Well, she didn't want to give me up, and I didn't want to give her up, really. So we're still together a year later, not a year later, but a long time. We've known each other year. And then the very last person that asked me, also, I thought I didn't think she would ever reach out to anyone. If I told her no, I'm really afraid. It was just her personality type. I thought, she's not gonna this would hurt her if I said no. So now I'm at my limit. So then when someone else did ask me, we have with Kathy and her sponsor and all that, we have this great network of women. So when I couldn't sponsor this girl, I said, but I'm going to find you someone, and I'm talking to you until we get you someone that you connect with. And I reached out to someone in our group who immediately said yes. And, so it was great. So it's great to have that network, So, but, and then I had to last week in all good conscience, because with everything going on with my brother and stuff, I had to tell my sponsors, if you need more than what I can give you right now, I will not be offended or take any offense to it, Yep. They're like, no way, all of them were like that. And when I went to that bad place, jail, for a couple of days, I not hell, but jail. It was the same thing for 2 days. So I made sure that Kathy knew and was available to them and had them all connected.
Yeah.
And we do a group text check-in every day, so they're all connected to each other. So if I'm not there, if I don't answer right away, they have each other, and they know that Kathy is always there.
Yeah.
So.
And I think you just brought up something really important, Buckeye, Bambi, and and Kathy, tell me what you think about this. That it's it's really more about the fellowship, about learning how to be a part of this community. And our sponsors are a spearhead, but we're actually supposed to be out there connecting with our community. And our sponsor isn't the end all and be all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm not negating, like, when the shit hits the fan, and like when I say the words "my mother," there are only 3 people I'm gonna call, because I'm not doing 49 years of catch up with anybody. Like these, like my sponsor and 2 of my BFFs, like my sisterhood, they've been here the whole time. Like all I have to say is "my mom," and they know what that means. But our job is to grow an understanding and effectiveness within the community, right? So, it's like I'm off the map usually sometime between Thanksgiving and New Year's, like in dark land of my own.
Basement Beth
is in the basement. And my girls know you fucking lean on each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's why we always say in the meetings, guys, put your number in the room, in the chat for everybody, or you're passing around a whatever, at a meeting, for that is exact reason, exactly what Beth said. It's your sponsor isn't your end all be all. He or she is that person you kind of go to. But what if they're not available? What if they're working? What if they're, like Beth said, I'm not available? There has to be some other go-to people, and that is so important in these rooms. And a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, my sponsor this, and that's it. And the story, no, you need to build a network, and that's really, really important. Kath, what's your thoughts on that as far as building a network goes? And how do you take that when somebody says, well, I called Sally up and she helped me and blah, 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 you weren't available? I mean, do you ever get that?
Like, good for you.
I've had that happen a few times, but no.
I haven't happened all the time.
Beth is 100% correct. And I have one sponsee, and I kept over and over saying, you have to start calling other people.
Yeah.
Especially when I went down the tubes, and building up your sober support network, because God forbid, what happens if something happens to me? My sponsees have to, like you say, lean on each other. And I always say, when you go to a meeting and there's a newcomer, make sure you give her your number and make sure you take her number, because we pass the paper around and we all put our numbers on it. Yeah. And then the woman never calls any of us, never shows up again. So I've learned that to get that newcomer's number, so we have the number. And you're right, Beth, we are just a spearhead to introduce them to everybody and their program. Yeah. And a couple thoughts came into my mind. It's also very important to let your sponsee know if for whatever reason she's not getting the help she needs from you, and you're just not jiving, you're just not connecting. Please be honest with me and tell me, Kat, I'm going to look for another sponsor. And I'll be like, God bless you. I'm always here for you if you need me, but I totally understand.
Yeah.
And that's happened a couple times over the years. So, but I'm like, I have, either do this, and like you said, Ed, or you're gonna die.
Yeah.
I don't even do the jails and institutions anymore.
Straight to death.
I had a guy come in Thursday, and we were talking, and I said, well, how often do you do the fentanyl? And he's like, every day. And I'm like, oh my Lord. I said, so you snort it? And he's like, no, I use it IV. And honest to God, young, cute, adorable person, the tears just started, and I said, please forgive my unprofessionalism, but I don't want you to leave this room. I'm afraid, So at our place, we have a great program where usually just give them the form and they go right to the drugstore and get the Narcan. But God bless our nurse. She has extra Narcan and she gave it to him because he said he ran out of Narcan, multiple overdoses. Anyway, but I said to him, look, either you go inpatient or what's going to happen to you.
Well, that fentanyl and doing that is like playing Russian roulette. It is. You have no idea. Yeah. And every time you stick a needle in your arm, you snort it, you might as well just pull the trigger to a gun. I mean, it's the same thing. I want to go back to Carl. Carl said a sponsor's job is to work themselves out of a job. And that is true, right?
Wow, excellent.
Yeah, Carl's here from Soberpod. And if you take a look at all these hearts that he gave me, somebody take a look.
Hi,
a bunch
Carl.
of hearts,
What's going on again?
I can't see anybody but you three. So
no. We have Facebook Live up on our side. So, but yeah, sponsors' job is to work themselves out or minimize their kind of role in instead of that go to. I'll work with you. When the steps hit and blah 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 blah. I want to tell a quick story about my sponsor, guys, and then we're going to wrap up here in a minute. But my sponsor the last time, because we did last year all the steps every month, and that was a tough year, but I learned a lot from it. So my sponsor said, well, if you're going to do the steps every month, you're going to work them with me every month. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Really? I was like, I need a new sponsor, but no. So when we get to the fourth and fifth step, he said, I want you to do that with your therapist. I was like, why? He said, because I'm not your one and only person here. He said, rely on your therapist, rely on other people. You need to, because I did it, I did plenty of fourth and fifth steps with him all along the road. But he said, I want you to do that with your therapist because your therapist knows a lot more and you can see it from a different angle. And I thought I was like, he just wants to get out of not listening to my fucking whining and bullshit and kind of whatever. But no, he was right. And I came back to him and I discussed it. And it was just amazing. It was just amazing that I did it with my therapist. Now, of course, that cost me money, but and it wasn't one session, I can tell you that. So but it gave me a different look at things, a different way of kind of tackling things and working through them. So that was just kind of wonderful. Camden Kathy, thank you so much for being on here. We love you. I have to say, this is not your first time on our podcast. I think you were on the Answering the Call podcast, correct?
I don't remember.
I don't remember, but I'll go through the shows and I believe you were. But Kath, if you can kind of sum up sponsorship or give not advice or just give recommendations or suggestions to sponsors out there, what would that advice be?
That advice would be not to get emotionally involved with your sponsee, because I always, and then I'm not objective, and my purpose is just to teach them through the book and not be their therapist. And I just find it's extremely important because when I first came in, I had no clue what people were saying. I was that damaged. And so sometimes I'll say to a newcomer, like, just find a woman to walk with you through the program and not label sponsor. And then this way, maybe we can help that person not to die.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kath. And ladies, I'm going to ask you guys the same question. What would you give sponsor advice or sponsor suggestions out there, Beth?
Listen to Kathy.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to listen to Kathy.
I agree with you on that one. Absolutely. Bambi.
I would say, I mean, I agree with all that, but I say also that the answers are all in the big book.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
so find it in the big book. I know that when I call Kathy with a problem, she'll even tell me sometimes, listen, I'm angry for you, so let me have a minute. And I'll call you back, and she always gives me a page to read or something, you know, because she's
That's
got
great advice, Kathy.
You know, but you know,
Love
the
that.
answers are all right there in print. So
It is. And like my sponsor says, if it ain't in a book, don't worry about it. Don't come to me about it. Go find another professional. I'll help you with it. If it's not, if you can't get the answer in the book, it doesn't pertain to what we're talking about in our recovery, you know?
Yes.
And I believe that wholeheartedly. I'm more of the steps guy. I like reading the steps. I like reading the 12 and 12. But yeah, he is right. 100%. That's hands down. That's where it's at. So guys, another great show. Camden, Kathy, we love you. Thank you for being a guest. You know, you are an inspiration to myself and many others out there in the Friends in Recovery community. We really appreciate what you do for us, you know, from the service point of things and how you help all these wonderful, beautiful women in this program to stay sober and, you know, and get to where they need to be in life. So I will keep you in my prayers, and thank you for all your service work that you do. And ladies, you too. I can't keep you guys out, because Beth and Bambi, you guys sponsor, you know, people that, you know, that's just amazing that, you know, you guys take this role on top of everything that we do in life, you know. And I know how busy my life is, and Beth is kind of in the same role what I do. And I can't take on that many sponsees. I'll be honest with you. I just know my limit. That's it. So, but thank you, ladies, for everything you do. You know, you've got some great recovery going out there with some of those beautiful women that you guys sponsor, and you're definitely making a difference in somebody's lives today. So, on that note, guys, stay sober, everybody.
Real quick, Ed.
Go ahead.
You may want to check the Facebook comments, because I think that somebody is like starting a bromance with you.
Oh, what's going on here? Soberpod, Carl is sending. Oh my God!
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this. Somebody's got a crush on you, brother.
Carl. Oh my God! But these hearts don't count. They got to be on the YouTube, right?
Don't tell him that.
Yeah, Carl. Do that again on YouTube, Carl.
Yeah, please, Carl.
Who puts us on YouTube?
That's right. Well, we're, like I said before, stay sober, everybody.
This concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast. Follow us on Facebook for past shows and updates, and enjoy free access to twice daily support meetings. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.